Welcome back. It's Friday. Of course, Friday means high school football and the score right here on WQAD. We are on week 8 of the high school football season. So many great games to get to. And Corey, when you get to this time of year, the games get bigger and better, and that's what makes this time of year so much fun.
Yeah, there's so many good games. We've got teams that are fighting for playoff life. We got teams that may not be in the playoffs but could play spoilers. So there's so many things that are going to happen tonight. Got a little football weather too. It's going to be a really good Friday night here.
Yeah, and also you have teams that are going for perfection, and that's the case here at Tuval Stadium as Bettendorf comes into the season, or comes in tonight, I should say, 7-0 in the season, ranked number 1 in the RPI. They welcome a Cedar Rapids Prairie team that's 16th in the RPI. They're 3-4 in the season, but they're a really good 3-4 football team. They've beaten Southeast Polk already this year. They've been in a lot of good games, so they'll be battle tested tonight. But as we've talked about throughout the day, Bettendorf continues to play really good football. They're solid on the ground. They play really good defense. Their quarterback, Jackson Laver, is playing really good football. So expect a good football game here at Bettendorf. But Bettendorf could possibly get to 8-0 and then head on the road next week and possibly get to 9-0 in a perfect regular season. So good times here at Bettendorf. But just the tip of the iceberg over in Illinois, big games in the Western Big Six as well.
Always seems to be a big game somewhere in the Western Big Six. And there's a couple teams that are, again, fighting for their playoff life. One of those teams will be United Township. They head up to Hazel Green up in Wisconsin, and they play a team, Regis, and they're undefeated. And you're like, oh my gosh, they're playing an undefeated team. Can they actually beat them? Yeah, they can. They have a school of about 400, so they're a bigger school. I talked to Bam Postolnik last weekend. He's like, I like our chances. If they can get a win this week, they got Galesburg next week. That would get them to 5. Nick Welch and the Panthers would be in. Sterling and Rock Island, another team, Sterling, looking to get into the playoffs. They got in last year as a 4-5 team, knocked off the #1 seed in the playoffs. Rock Island coming off a win from last year, so they got a little bit of momentum. Moline down on the road at Galesburg, and then you got Quincy coming up to Geneseo. See if Geneseo can do anything, because nobody's been able to stop that juggernaut of Quincy.
Big night of the Western Big Six. Also a big night around the area. Some of the best matchups. One of the best matchups is down in Monmouth as Monmouth-Roseville hosts Rock Ridge. A really good matchup between two very good schools. Of course, Monmouth-Roseville still undefeated, 7-0 in the season, and they're looking to continue their winning ways as they get to go close to the postseason. Rock Ridge had high expectations. They only have 2 losses to two really good teams. They could get that signature victory tonight. A lot of offense, a lot of explosive plays down in Monmouth. We'll have full coverage of that game for you coming up tonight on the score as well. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The track is always really, really good. That's the case here in week 8 as well.
You mentioned Monmouth-Roseville, you got Princeton, but then there's Kewanee and Sterling Newman, 2 teams that play tonight, and it's going to be a kind of a unique matchup. It's Alex Duarte from Kewanee, the running back over there, who's having a really good season, and then you got Daniel Kelly on the other side of the ball from Sterling Newman, one of the best linebackers in the state. I'm really curious to see how these two match up, and Kelly does a little bit of everything. He even runs the ball on offense too, so this should be a really fun matchup as well.
Yeah, we talked about teams getting into the playoffs and kind of clinching that. We talked about perfection. Wilton is still perfect on the season. Northeast is still perfect on the season, so a lot of really good football around the area. A lot of games to get to. 23 games in all tonight on the score, and we welcome back one of our favorite guest grillers of all time. We started this thing a few years ago, and people really didn't know we were doing guest grillers, and then this former Hawkeye, Julian Vandervelde, showed up, and let me show you how it went a few years ago. And as you can see, a lot of fire, a lot of flame. See, Julian wanted to put bacon on the bison burgers, which
great idea.
Sounds delicious. The only problem is the bacon grease is flammable, Cuff.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well, did it? We had fire extinguishers on standby, and we got through the segment, but it didn't turn out too good.
That's live TV at its finest. I remember looking over across the grill to see what you were doing.
You couldn't see me.
I couldn't see Cuff. I couldn't see anything. But after that, everyone kept asking, who's the guest griller? So we want to thank Julian for putting the guest griller back on the map, or on the map to begin with. We're going to welcome him back. He was back last year. He was safe last year. We're going to cook up some pork chops with him. We'll talk a lot about the Iowa Hawkeyes. We'll talk about these NFL days. A lot to get to tonight. We'll have a lot of fun with Julian Vandervelde, and of course, we'll have all the highlights and scores you need. Brian Stocking with all the scores. Jenna Miner will join Corey Kuffler and myself. The Score, 45 minutes right here tonight on WQAD. That's it from us at Tuval Stadium. We'll be right back.